I had so many friends that were shocked that they were like, well, did this happen in Pueblo? Did this happen where you guys live? And I was like, yeah, and just how unaware people were about the things that people of color have gone through in this community. And there's many other stories. We have to make choices to realize, are we hindering another person's growth, therefore hindering our community's growth, and us as a human race? That's all we can hope for. We can hope for change. I know that change is difficult, and sometimes people get afraid of change because they have a lot of fear. And we have to address those fears. We have to understand, like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that somebody's gonna get a little bit more at the table than you got? Some people aren't even at the table yet, or at least they feel that way.
Because people need to know the truth. Change is our DNA.
I think everything happens for a reason in life. And I think that it's a time that with COVID happening and the protests, that it really is a time for us to be reflective of ourselves and ask ourselves, what part do we play in perpetuating racism or perpetuating negative stereotypes? One of the things that I find, which is just so beautiful, is when you see all of the different types of people that have been out there protesting. It really says that some people are really getting it. This video that we're going to show you is a video that we shot when we were doing a film about my father, who was in World War II at the age of 14. And he suffered from post-traumatic stress. We decided not to use this clip in the movie, but we have put it out there because we think it's an important thing for people to see. And it's called Merry KKKristmas.
That was the other thing, how my parents dealt with the issues of racism and some of the other societal complexities, being of a real minority class. We weren't just a few black people out here. There were almost none. We were it. But how he dealt with that, and there was one, and it's so interesting that you meant that. It's kind of ironic that we mentioned this because it was around Christmas time. And the KKK had burned a cross right here in the Sprint yard. And I remember I was coming home with a friend of mine, and we drove into the yard. And as we saw it, I was like, oh my God, is this for real? And again, so we knock it down, put it out, blah, 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 go to bed the next morning. And, my mother and father, their answer to that was like, they're like, oh no, don't get rid of that cross. They put it back up in the yard. They put Christmas lights on it. And lit it up. So it became part of our Christmas decorations. The Klan probably wanted their cross back, but, it was decorated with Christmas lights. And if even the next year my mother kept it and put it back out again, it was, And so we take a symbol of hatred, venomous hatred, and they turn it around into something very positive.
This is just one story of one of the crosses that were burned in our yard. Yeah, there were other crosses. When my mom saw that, my mom wanted to make certain that that symbol was not a symbol of hate for us, but was a symbol of love. And that symbol of love was what she wanted her kids to believe in. I think it's really relevant for us to watch right now because I think that a lot of times people have had blinders on. And one of the first things that happened when I first started sharing it with some folks, I had so many friends that were shocked that they were like, well, did this happen in Pueblo? Did this happen where you guys live? And I was like, yeah, and just how unaware people were about the things that people of color have gone through in this community. And there's many other stories. You look at the Lincoln Home, which is the Black orphanage, and it's known there, the reason why that orphanage existed is because they wouldn't accept little black babies into the other orphanages here in town. And so systemic racism is real, and it continues on, and the only way that we can change things is to really acknowledge that there is a problem to start with. One of the things that I've realized in my life is that it's important that we continue to grow. I know that I was in this show called Avenue Q one time, and Avenue Q, there's a song in it that says that everyone's a little bit racist. And there's something to that. I think that when we take stereotypes, whether they be good or bad, that we have to acknowledge it. And we have to make choices to realize, are we hindering another person's growth, therefore hindering our community's growth and us as a human race? You know, the one thing I realized though is that it really is about, I think that a lot of it is that we have to talk to each other. We have to communicate with each other. We have to make certain that we leave those lines of communication open and really listen, really, really listen. Sometimes we're the ones that are always, everybody else, like we're the ones that are talking. I challenge people to really be a listener and really get to the root of what people have experienced and what their desires are. And I bet you'll find that there's a lot that we have in common because we are one human family.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
Change the world, be the change. And that's what it is. That's all we can do. That's all we really can do is look to ourselves and ask yourself, what am I doing to be part of the change? To the change for justice, the change for love, the change for anti-discrimination, anti-racist, racism. Be the change.